Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live at Lunchtime. Jacquie Edwards here. Today I'm continuing the trend of admin. There seems to be loads and loads of admin to do. It might be because I don't like it very much, so I tend to wait until it builds up and then try to do it all at once. So right now I'm really focusing on getting all of our processes organized today. So a really key thing in running any business is to start setting up systems and processes as early as possible. And we did mention this a little bit yesterday about systems. A system can be pretty much anything, so you don't need fancy spreadsheets, you don't need kind of fancy documents, all of that kind of stuff. It could just be a way you do things. But the way you do things should be written down so that you can start bringing on team members and getting help so that you can start working on the business instead of in the business, which is really important if you want to, have anything like passive income or kind of a business where you just haven't replaced your job. So I have a small team now. So we've got a part-time property manager who does kind of the day-to-day management of all the properties. We've got a letting manager who does all of our room viewings and finding tenants. And I've got a virtual assistant as well. She's based out in the Philippines, so she's absolutely amazing. And is just about to start full-time with us. So, and especially working with a virtual assistant, you have to have pretty good processes in place. You have to spend the time to train them. And I think that's a step a lot of people miss out when they hire a virtual assistant, is that they think that person can just instantly do everything. You do have to train them and show them how to do things just like a normal employee. So I'm working today in pretty much all of our systems. And kind of making everything talk to each other. But one of the things I wanted to share was a system called Process Street. And it's a website. It's process.st, I think is the website, but you can just search Process Street and it should come up. And this is a website that helps you make checklists, basically. So it helps you document your processes. Again, this isn't something you have to use. You can just document processes, on a Word document. You can just write them on a piece of paper if that's the way you do it. But now that we're getting a little bit bigger and my team all works from home, so they all work off-site, so having something in the cloud, so Process Street is all online, it really helps us to keep track of everything, so I know where everything's at, and so that I know that people are doing things the way that I want them to be done, when I want them to be done. So I can just write the process. So one of the ones I'm working on, what am I working on right now? The tenant checkout process. So we keep all of our data in a system called Podio. So as soon as a tenant calls my property manager and says, I'm going to move out on, the 31st of July. So my property manager pops into Podio and puts that date in, and that automatically starts a process in Process Street. And then from there, it passes over to our letting manager, who, well, it goes back and forth between the property manager and the letting manager, which is why Process Street can be quite clever. And so they each do different parts of the checkout process, and they both get notifications. So this just walks them through exactly what they need to do from when the tenant says, I'm moving out, to when we actually check their room and return any deposits. And yeah, it's probably, if you've ever read the book, The EMyth, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. One of the things that they talk about in that book is processes and how that's the only way to really grow your business or to really have a proper business is by, setting up these systems and processes. Because even if you take on team members, and it can be really hard to do, but you can get excited, say, okay, I'm going to have my property manager come in now. If you don't have those processes in place, things can go along well for a while, or you can just kind of push everything onto your property manager. They can take care of everything. You can say, oh, great, everything's wonderful, I don't have to do anything. But if that property manager ever quits, you're basically going to be in the shit because you've got to go back and do it all. You're not going to have any processes in place. You're going to have to retrain a whole new person when you take them on. Whereas if you have your processes documented out really well, and again, you don't have to do this. You can start them and then work with, your employees so that they can, fill in all the details of the process as they're the one doing it day to day. But if you don't have that process and you've got to bring on somebody new, then you have to train them from scratch. Whereas if you've got that process well documented, and with Process Street I can put videos and images in there as well. So I do record a lot of videos now for my team to just follow along step by step. If you've got that in place, it's really easy to train a new team member on exactly how they should be doing their job because you've got it all documented. So it's a lot easier to have somebody come and help out. So that's what we're working on now because we're having a little bit of a shift in our team and we're trying out a few new things, and really we're just trying to streamline everything because my property manager has loads and loads and loads to do. So we're trying to balance out the workflow so that she's not overwhelmed and see how much more we can give to the other team members. So I think that's pretty much it for today. I need to get back to it because I've decided that Thursday is massage day, so I am, and it is already Thursday again. I feel like it was just Thursday yesterday. So I am having a massage this afternoon, so I'm hoping to get everything finished before then so I can relax after the massage. So yeah, I'd recommend checking out Process Street, recommend checking out the book The EMyth, and stay tuned because once I get our processes fine-tuned, I'm hoping to be able to share them because Process Street has some awesome sharing functionality. So I should be able to share some of those processes as we get them built out and finalized. So you can borrow some of my processes so that you don't have to write your own because it can be a pain in the ass. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.